Listen, everyone. The time will come when all of us must say goodbye. Feel that aching in your heart, leaving you broken inside. But we're never truly gone as long as there's memories in your mind. So, go do the best things in life. Take a bite of this world while you can, and make the best of the rest of your life. Make a ride of this world while you can. This morning, I woke up to a post on Facebook. My friend Mike, who late last year was diagnosed with a very aggressive type of cancer, and who back then basically laid out the problems with him losing his hair. Not that he had any, he hadn't had for years. But he said something, do it all now. And this morning he posted with a cartoon picture of himself a question. What do you do when a doctor says maybe a week? And he says, you thank the people in your life and the role that they have played in making his life wonderful. And so, after I've just made my breakfast, I basically had to sit at the kitchen table and write to him probably the last message that he will ever read from me. And while I was reading it or writing it, I sort of contemplated with myself that in a way it's actually kind of a luxury. You don't often get the chance to express to someone what that person has meant to you before it's too late. But at the same time, what do you write? I mean, back in 2003, when I went to Australia to study, I had the option between two courses. One was academic writing, and the other one scared me batshit, and that was public speaking. I hated public speaking. I hated standing in front of people talking. But I challenged myself, much like when you sign yourself up to karaoke and then you instantly regret it, but then, well, now you have to do it. That was my approach to that class. And the very first class, we literally got to bash the nervousness out of ourselves by grabbing this thingy and literally bashing a bar stool and saying how great this class was going to be. And from there on, it kind of slowly let go. I mean, one of the speeches, we had a minute to tell a memorable moment speech, and I told the story of how I once babysat the child of an actress that played against Tom Cruise in Eyes Wide Shut, which was quite far-fetched, and I went 2 seconds over like the allowed time within the minute, which meant that my grade was automatically pushed down a bit. And one of the things I wrote to him this morning, what would have happened if I had stayed within that minute? Would it have been a butterfly effect where everything has changed, or was that failure, as I saw it back then, just a leap towards one of the great moments of my life when I, as part of the course, I got to give a speech on top of a fountain under the great arch of the campus, wearing a toga dress and paying tribute to Sammy Davis Jr., ending that speech by singing his rendition of Mr. Bojangles. I got a 98 out of 100 on that one, and that was one of those moments that just threw me into something else. I mean, back in 2007, 2008, when I first attempted to do what I'm doing right now, put a camera in front of myself and film, I was so hesitant. I was like, no, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do this. But then I thought about Mike and I thought about some of the things that he had taught us, the Mike Magic Maxims, the several rules of how to engage an audience and what to think of, and I applied that, and I made that first video. And as I wrote to him, I don't know what my life would have been if I hadn't made that video, if I hadn't again written myself up to karaoke and thrown myself into the world. I mean, the amount of people that I met through doing this is... I don't know who I would have been or what I would have done if it hadn't been for the fact that I started filming myself on YouTube and getting to know people all around the world, some that go all the way back to 2008. Some of these people were at my wedding, and if I had gotten married today instead of back then, the demographics of my wedding would have been so much YouTube. And what do you write? Because the thing is, it didn't end with that semester. For the second semester, I didn't have Mike as a teacher, but we would often have lunch and talk about life and stuff. And when I left Australia, I think it was a few years later, where he came by. It was 2006. He was in Stockholm because he was, apart from being a teacher, he was also a traveling reporter. And he would make these wonderful stories of all corners of the world, because I think he had every 5th or 6th semester off, because this university had a free semester system. And he would travel, and one of those travels went to Sweden. And in 2006, when I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis and I had my relapse and I was in the hospital, which was pretty much just around this time, around midsummer, the doctor said that it would be okay for me to leave the hospital during midsummer, and I had invited Mike to join us out on this island in this Stockholm archipelago, because I wanted him to experience, real midsummer, of what many Swedes do when they leave town and head to someone's house out in the archipelago or out in the country. And we went there, and we just had the best time. And the group out there, we still talk about, when Mike was at midsummer celebration, and he almost missed the ferry back into Stockholm because he was busy taking pictures of the maypole. And he stopped by Stockholm another time after that. And obviously Australia is quite far away. And my first reaction when I heard about his diagnosis in December was that I need to go to Australia. I need to see him one last time. And thinking, no, Mike is strong, he's going to make it, and I will maybe have the chance to go in the fall. And then life happens, and then you wake up on a morning like this, and you see that it's what do you write to someone? What do you write? Because he didn't take things lightly, but he always put humor in the darkest of places, and I can relate so much to that. Even when people are at their lowest, and I have a chance to talk to them, I often try to apply some form of humor into it, some kind of black humor, just to kind of loosen up the tension. And I just wish I would have gone sooner. Just gone down there and just had, a walk on the beach with him and just talk about life, because go do the best things in life. And that's one of the themes I often talk about this channel. You never know. You never know when it's too late. And if you are like me, and most of your approach to life is that whatever happens now is happening now, whereas other people have the comfort of believing in an afterlife. I'm just way too scientific, I guess, in that sense. Although I live in a dream world a lot, and I always have. What do you write? There were so many comments on that post, and people expressing and also not knowing what to express, because it's like you don't want to talk about it, but at the same time you want to acknowledge the fact, and I really wanted him to know how much he has meant to me. And I know that this day, today, will be hell, because as I'm recording this, it's still, there's 1 week left, and I'm still contemplating just going back to my computer, just finding a ticket and fly down to Australia, even if it's for one night, and come back. Otherwise, I don't know, regrets of not doing what you should have. So now go do the best things in life. Take a bite of this world as you can, and make the most of the rest of your life. Bring the light to those who deserve it, if you have a chance to talk to people that has had an influence on you, and really, really let them know. Yes, I had the luxury of being able to write to him beforehand, I hope. But if you get a chance to actually see that person and talk to that person, do it. Because you just never know. Thank you, Mike, for what you have done throughout my life, and the inspiration that you have bestowed upon me, and your approach to life, and your kindness, your friendship, your emails with all the pictures, almost like a newsletter, but still directed towards me and my wife personally. I can't thank you enough, and I just wish that we would have had the chance of meeting more often. Thank you, Mike. Good talk. And this part of the video right now is being filmed 24 hours later, and what happened after I filmed the previous parts of this video, I booked a flight. Then I got the visa in time, so when you see this, I will be in Australia, hoping I will make it in time. Good talk.